Well, if Tarrant County has control over everything that falls below this 325 line, such as your house that may be over the line a little bit, does that mean everything that's involved inside the lake is under their jurisdiction?
Yeah, it's going to be underneath their jurisdiction and Army Corps of Engineers, Tarrant Regional Water District and Army Corps of Engineers. Your boathouse, your retaining wall, your lake pump, being able to pull water out of the lake for irrigation. All these things are underneath their jurisdiction, and they have guidelines, they have permits for getting that work done, guidelines for maintaining, building new, repairing. For instance, you might see around the lake some boathouses that are fully enclosed in. Okay, back in the 1960s, that was allowed, or it was at least done, and nobody said anything.
Sure seems like concrete was plentiful at that time.
Yeah, concrete was plentiful at that time. We see some of those concrete retaining walls where it looked like it took a concrete plant about 20 days worth of ready mix there to fill that thing up. But you'll see some of those. Now they're grandfathered in to where they can be repaired to a certain point and maintained and kept there. But if they're ever taken out, according to the current guidelines, you can't build a fully enclosed boathouse the way you could back in the 1960s. So there's certain things that you'll see that you look at the guidelines like, well, that's not according to it, but you look at the age, and so it's grandfathered in for a time period. These things are under Tarrant Regional's jurisdiction. They have the say on it, but at our office we have printouts of their regulations and their permits and how they go about setting their standards. So they're pretty well unified and really good to work with. They have their offices right up there on the spillway. Any questions that you have, you can just pop in during the week, talk to them. They'll give you the guidelines on what you can and cannot do. But as far as retaining walls, boathouses, even like cabana structures, anything like that, sheds non-living structures that you put below that 325 line, that falls within their jurisdiction. And before you start building something new, or even before you really get into extensive repair on something you have that might have some age on it, it might be a good idea to pop in and talk to them. For instance, if you buy a lot and it has an older house on it prior to 1988, it'd be a good idea to get an up-to-date survey and find out, does that 325 line come up into that structure anywhere? Because you would want to purchase that footprint before removing that structure. If you bought an older house and you're planning on building a new one, because if you just rip that out and build a new house on that same footprint, might run into some problems. So I want to be sure that you get with your realtor, get with the surveyor and Tarrant Regional, and make sure all of that is clarified before moving forward with those projects.
I know that one of the biggest things with these lake homes that I get asked all the time is when people get the lake home because they want to enjoy the lake. One of the best things to do on this lake is a boat or a jet ski.
Yeah, boats and jet skis. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a jet ski.
Yeah, so how do they find out how much boathouse can I put on the lake with my home?
Okay. Well, one thing you can do is you can get on TRWD.com onto their website, and they have on there the building permits, guidelines, and all that, which lay out exactly how many square feet. You can stop by our office, Coldwell Banker American Dream Realty. We have printouts of these. We can print you out an up-to-date copy of it. But it'd also be a good idea to take those, read them over well, but also stop into Tarrant Regional's office and make sure that nothing's changed, or at your specific lot or area where you're at on the lake, that it doesn't have some restriction specific to that area that impedes that.
Well, another thing is that with the water, you talked about the lake pumps and things that I know this is a thing that our clients really like is being able to water their lawn and their gardens here on the waterfront without having to tap into that city water, which runs them bills quite high sometimes during the gardening season.
Yeah, Tarrant Regional allows on this lake for you to put a boat dock pump on your boat dock, or you put it on the retaining wall and run a pipe out in the lake and suck water out of there, and you can water your lawn, your trees, your garden, whatever you want on that property, on that waterfront property. Now you can't just can't just hook up a big old fire hose and run it across the street and start watering every bit of acreage you got out there across the street. But it does allow you to maintain that landscaping around your house, which has been quite beneficial to a lot of clients and a lot of homeowners around the lake over the years. Helps reduce that water bill. Plus, that lake water is a lot better for the plants than your city water. And it's a nominal fee to go down there and have that permitted, most houses already have that permit in place for that lake pump to be able to irrigate, but you'd want to be sure that you're just permitted in correctly, according to the guidelines, stipulations, and everything, and use that feature. A lot of the lakes don't allow you to do that, but Cedar Creek Lake, you can irrigate with that lake pump.
And as you're talking about these water pipes and everything for watering your yard, one question people have lately is they see the construction over here in Trinidad of this new IPL pipeline.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit of information about what's going on with that right now?
Yeah, the IPL, that's the integrated pipeline. What they're doing is they're hooking together a lot of the lakes that are under the Tarrant Regional Water District and Dallas Water Utilities lake layout plot line, such as Richland Chambers and Cedar Creek Lake and Lake Palestine, and they're going to incorporate together to where Tarrant Regional Water District and Dallas Water Utilities can better share water. If one of them's more, their lakes are lower, but the other one has more water in their reserves, they can share this back and forth. It's going to streamline the pool of the water from the lakes, make it to where one lake over here isn't as drastically affected as another one, and allow them to shift that water back and forth different ways. So it's really going to help with their conservation program. The lakes still are going to go up. The lakes are still going to go down. Whenever the sun comes out, the lake goes down. We lose about 3 to 4 times as much water to evaporation every day as what Tarrant Regional pulls out. And whenever the clouds come out and the rain comes down, the lake goes up. I mean, that's just basic ecosystems and how they work. But Tarrant Regional is really in the business of conservation of these water resources. I mean, that's why they call it a reservoir. It's we call it Cedar Creek Lake. It's technically a reservoir rather than a lake, and that's where they reserve the water supply. And its primary purpose is providing usable potable water to people in Tarrant County and now over in the Dallas Water Utilities districts.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a lot of information to know about these waterfront homes. It might be something you may consider calling Coldwell Banker over here, because not only can a realtor help you locate that perfect home, they can also assist you with a few things like the paperwork, getting good pictures of your home, coordinating with your different vendors, your surveyors and appraisers like you were talking about a minute ago, and help be a buffer between these people and defer the liability also, which is a good thing for the clients out there.
Yeah, if you got any questions on any of this, I mean, we know pretty good general information, enough to be sure to tell you, on any of this stuff, dealing with Tarrant Regional Water District, with your boathouse and your retaining wall, lake pumps, all that. We want to be sure that you're put in touch with the right people over at Tarrant Regional Water District, so you go about in the right way, get everything set up, and that you're able to focus on enjoying your lake house.